Greetings, everybody. Blessings and balance to you. This is Karota Kofe, and just doing another video for today. I have been on the move quite a bit last couple days. Hadn't had a chance to really sit after that last video we did, leaving Natchez. I'm back in Dallas at the moment. Just got a fresh cut, so I'm feeling good, right? But even before that, I was feeling good. I just hadn't really had my silent time, which is cool. It happens. But I wanted to kind of share with you guys, what's been going on with me lately, which has been difficult to deal with. Frankly difficult to deal with. I want to talk to you about deconditioning from relationships. In particular, long-term relationships, marriages, or it doesn't have to be an official marriage, but a long-term relationship. I really have been struggling in the last few days with the concept of doing things for me. Like, now, mind you, I talk about it all the time, and I'm sure you guys know that if you follow me. Doing things for me, doing things for myself, and not acquiescing to other people's. Sorry, somebody was rolling up behind me. Not acquiescing to other people's scenarios and situations and wants and needs and all that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean that you ignore the people in your life. However, I had some really emotional moments just thinking about the marriage that I came from. I was with my ex-wife for 17 years. We were married for 13. And there was quite a bit of, how could I say, self-sacrifice and martyrdom in that relationship with me, where I gave in to pretty much everything that she wanted and desired. And part of that was just being loving and wanting to do things for the person that I love. And that's fine. But, recently it's brought itself back up for me because, I've found that when my love asks me questions, my current partner and mistress and wife and all those terms, do you feel like doing this? And I'll say sure, even if I don't. And again, partially it's because I'm trying to do something for her. It's a love language. I love to do X, Y, and Z for you without listening to the gut, without listening to my strategy authority, which is the gut, without listening to my intuition, which is telling me I don't really have the energy to do this right now, or that I don't feel like doing this right now, or that I haven't really had any time to myself, or whatever. And feeling like, and I wish I could go into this more deeply in the same way that I had when we had our talk, but uh, feeling like there is so much in the world that I have not, or not in the world, but so much that I have not done for myself. Just simple things like sitting in silence and not going out and running errands and going to the library with the girls, as I call them, because I got girls around me, feminine energy around me all the time. But just not ignoring myself, but overriding to the point where I find myself, just doing things for her or for them before I've done things for myself, or without equally doing things for myself. And that has to come to an end. And she said this, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I know she loved me. It's more than that, obviously. Many reasons and ways that I know she loves me, but she cares about my well-being. She cares about me doing things for me. She cares about me being authentically me. And because that's what she loves about me, is that I am authentic. This sun is beaming, so I'm gonna start this. I hope this doesn't make too much noise. But yeah, me being authentically me, and sorry about that. Allowing myself to do what I need to do to revitalize, to retool, to I can't think of the word at the moment, but you get what I'm trying to say. To do what it takes to recoup my energy, and to find my clarity. And so I was gonna say I sat there, but I laid there in the bed, tears flowing, because it really just kind of showed me just how conditioned I had become, not just doing things for other people without doing things for myself, but specifically doing things for my lover before I've done something for myself. That's a different thing. I've gotten past doing things for other people. I don't care if you're calling me. If I don't feel like talking on the phone, I don't feel like talking on the phone. I don't care if you need X, Y, and Z, because if it takes away from my well-being to go and help you, or do something for you, or give you something, or whatever the case, to the point where it's detrimental to me, I'm not going to do it. And I've gotten really good at that. I've gotten really good at saying I don't care about disappointing people. But where I still have a lot of work to do is where I fear disappointing my lover, fear disappointing my partner, because that's the person that has the most intimate access to me, the person that knows me the best, the person that affects me the most. And so I'll get up and I'll do things without considering myself. And my ex-wife was very took advantage of that, and in my opinion still does. But that's, well, I can't say that she still does. I can't say that. However, at least not in the way that I'm thinking. But that's a whole nother story that I don't even want to get into. What I'm saying is learning how to decondition myself from my relationship. I've been deconditioning from life's conditioning for 9 years. And it takes 7 years to decondition, right? I've been deconditioning as far as following my gut with human design for 5 years. I've been deconditioning from my past marriage relationship for 3 years. Yeah. And so you see the differences where there are levels to this deconditioning, where I left the church in 2012. I actually left in 2010, so we can really say it's been 11 years. But I went back for a month or two in late 2011 and then left in 2012. So been generally deconditioning from the church for 11 years. But let's say 9, right? Just for the sake of it. Boom. I don't have any church mindset left, over to decondition from. Maybe there's a little thing here and there, but even in that case, like, I've been away for so long that I understand reality, not within the church bubble. I've been deconditioning as far as following my strategy and authority, my gut, via human design or the knowledge of human design for 5 years. That has led me to coming into some real realizations, not just realizations, but even understanding of the way my cognitive process works, the way my gifts are coming alive in my life, spiritually and mystically and intellectually and artistically, creatively, all of these kinds of things in ways that it never has over the last 5 years. But in relationship, that's a whole nother level of deconditioning, because we find ourselves, or I find myself, dealing with the same stuff I was dealing with years ago, even though I was out of the church and I was following my strategy and authority, or attempting to. I'm now finding myself thinking like, man, but what if she thinks of me as less than a man? Or what if she thinks of me like, what I was saying and sharing with my partner was, my ex would say things not to me but to others about me crying too much or being too emotional. Now, this is a thing that I wish I could just teach men, right? But it's not something that I can necessarily teach. It's something that has to be experienced. It's something that has to be experienced or learned experientially, right? You can't just teach a man how to express his emotions, how to be vulnerable, how to be okay with being vulnerable and expressing his emotions. But I still would like to share my experiences, because it helps other people to see, okay, this is a reality. This is something that I can do. This is something that I can be, right? This is something that is real for some men. It's not absolutely 100% impossible for a woman to listen to a man and hear what he really feels. And she sat there and she listened to me. She watched me cry. She kissed me, as she often does, kisses my tears off of my face or whatever. Like, she cares, right? And it felt so good to just be able to express these things. But at the same time that I'm expressing them, I'm feeling like maybe she, in the back of her mind, just like my ex, is thinking, oh, he being a punk right now. He's a sissy right now. He's a this, he's a that, or whatever, because I had heard from other people what my ex-wife was saying about me when I would express my emotions about certain things, making me feel like less than a man, or trying to emasculate me because I'm actually expressing myself. And most men in this society are taught not to express ourselves. Not by the men in our society. Don't believe that bullshit lie. It is not just the men in our society who are telling us, be a man, men don't cry. That's not the case. That is not the case, because all of us men want to be able to express our emotions. All of us want it. But because the women are taught also that this is not what men do. And most men are raised by women. In the first, especially in the first 7 years of their life. But even as we go further, especially if it's a single mother, right? And the man is not in their life. Now, I was raised by a mother and a father. My dad was not there a lot because he worked a lot, and he was a pastor, and he was counseling people, and he had businesses and all kind of stuff like that. But he was still in my life. And he was a very emotional man. He cries all the time at the drop of a hat. And he still works on cars and do all this other kind of stuff. So it was good that I saw that example. But at the same time, society is teaching me, behave, be a man up, be a man, don't act like that, etc., etc., right? Society is teaching me this. All the while, my dad is showing the example of being an emotionally expressive man. Now, being emotionally expressive and being emotionally mature are two different things. And I realize that. There are some of us men who are emotionally expressive, but not necessarily emotionally mature. Emotionally expressive being, I'll show all my anger, I'll show all my tears, I'll show all this, but I don't know how to actually sit with them and actually deal with the emotion and actually feel them in their totality, and examine them and figure out where they're coming from, what they mean, why such things are affecting me in certain ways, and digging into the roots of those pains and those traumas and those things that cause us to want to cry. That's an entirely different thing. But with being able to do that, with being able to express my emotions, and not just express them, but examine them and be mature in my understanding and understanding and overstanding of them, right? That was something that I was not allowed to do in my past relationship. And this is what I want to tell all the men watching this, and the women, right? Because this is why men are the way that they are. Because they've been taught by women not to express their emotions, and they've been taught by men not to express their emotions. It's not just men that are perpetuating this bullshit lie. Okay? It's not one or the other. But what it is doing, what it is causing, is for us men to repress our emotions. And this is why we become, the type of humans that explode, right? Because we don't actually get to express how we actually feel about things. And so I found myself literally just laying in the bed. My love is laying on me. She's wiping my tears. She's kissing me. She's saying, "I hear you, babe," and all this kind of stuff. In her mind saying, "I'm gonna just be real with you. Fuck these hoes." Right? This is the way that she expresses it. But it's essentially saying, like, why were you not able to express yourself in this way? And that it's sad that I couldn't express myself in that way. But because I'm expecting, my expectations of a woman who has never given me a reason to think that she would dismiss my emotions. Never. Not once. I expect her to do so because most women do. Because my ex did. Because I see it on social media all over the place. The only women who have accepted that emotional expression, that emotional examination, that emotional, and like actually giving me space to deal with it has been my partner, my mother. My mother actually has been very good with this, and a select few women that I have as friends. Select few. And so it's interesting when I think about this as I'm expressing this to my love and saying, listen, I have to work on actually expressing the way I feel, no matter what it means, no matter what I have to say, no matter how it may hurt your feeling. Like, that's the biggest part, is not only not wanting to disappoint people, but not wanting to hurt people's feelings. Not wanting people to feel like what I'm expressing because it doesn't agree with where they're at or what they think or how they feel. Them saying, you know what, I don't want to be in this relationship anymore. Fuck that. Right? We have to get to a point, and this is for the men, we have to get to a point where expression of our emotional reality is the only thing that matters. And I don't want to say it's the only thing that matters. That's probably the wrong way to say it. But expression of our emotional reality is extremely important. Paramount. It is detrimental if we do not. Because if you do not, and then you find yourself in a relationship where you are hiding these aspects of yourself, to where when you do express them, now your partner is like, okay, who is this person? Because I don't know him. You've been with that person for 2, 3, 5, 10 years, and you've never truly expressed yourself because you're afraid of what may happen. And because you never truly express yourself, when you finally do, then they realize, I don't know if I really like this person. Because you're not being authentic. You're not being your true self. And it's not that, this is not to say, and I'm not saying this to make myself look better or anything like that. It's not to say that I haven't expressed myself. I'm still coming out of this deconditioning. I'm still coming out of this mindset, this paradigm that certain things are not shareable. I came into this relationship with the mentality of 1,000% vulnerability and nakedness. I remember specifically talking to her when we first started our relationship and saying, I don't want to be in a relationship where we're not 100% naked. And when I say naked, I mean bearing all. Bearing all. No lies. No lies. And so we came into the relationship with the right mindset. And we've always had the right mindset, but I'm realizing that as things, more subtle adjustments are being made as we've been together for a longer time now, I'm realizing and seeing where I haven't been as vulnerable, where I have held back on the little things that bother me, the little things that irritate me, the little things that I want to do, but because I have to take care of this responsibility and that responsibility and so on and so forth, I have neglected myself. We can't do that, brothers. Especially as black men. The term that I tend to use is melanin-rich men. Doesn't matter what you use, more, black, original man, melanin-rich, indigenous. This is important. We cannot transform the world without a healthy masculine. The world is going to transform itself. The earth is going to transform itself. But the consciousness of human beings on the earth The earth is going to help to transform that, but there is also the possibility that we don't transform with the earth because we're not in tune with the earth. Most of us are not. And so if we're going to get in tune with the earth, we got to do all the work that's necessary. We got to ground more. We got to go more into nature. We got to, spend time communing with the trees, communing with the animals, communing, with our feet planted in the dirt, communing with the crystals, communing, right? But at the same time, and I hope the air blowing just to keep me cool has not been too loud, but at the same time, in addition to that communion with the earth, we've also got to remember to work on our I kind of lost my train of thought, but work on ourselves. We have to express ourselves. We have to become more emotionally intelligent and more emotionally expressive in order for the masculine to balance itself out. Because the feminine is going to get there. They have a natural attunement, and don't let what I'm saying right now mean or give you the big head as a woman that you're just good no matter what. There are plenty unhealthy women on this planet. Plenty. Just as many as there are men, I would say. When I say unhealthy, I mean what today's society would call toxic. All right? But I don't go with the crowds. I don't like that term. Because a lot of the stuff they call toxic is not even toxic. A lot of stuff they're trying to cancel don't even need to be canceled. Fuck all that. And I don't know if you can feel the fire in me right now. I still have my peace. But I'm passionate about this because it's important for us men. It's important that we know that we have to do this. We have to tap into this feminine aspect of ourselves, and we do that through the earth, and we do that through our emotions, through our sensitivities, through our intuitive abilities. We can't do everything with the brain, y'all. We can't do everything with our intellect. We can't do everything with the mind. With the left brain or left-oriented being. We can't do it all that way. We have to decondition. So what I'm saying is, my main point that I'm trying to get to is deconditioning from relationships, long-term relationships, is just as much a reality as it is as deconditioning from society's whack structure or infrastructure, I should say, the school system, the government system, the medical system, the dietary system. These trendy things that are happening all over the place, cancel culture and this and that. All of this stuff that collectively seems to be acceptable is not necessarily what you have to follow if you're being an individual. What they call problematic is not problematic. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Some of the fact that they call everything problematic and toxic is problematic and toxic. Beyond all that, the most important thing that I'm trying to get across, and I keep doing my quad right thing and being all over the place, decondition from your relationships. And the best way to do that, is to be in a relationship. You cannot dig into how you interact with another person without being with another person. If you want to be alone and just go around and have sex with women, you're not going to deal with the deep down issues. A relationship is just like worship. When I talked about what worship is, ship meaning shape, word, the W-O-R, part of worship, meaning worth. The shape of worth. A thing that is worthy of honor, right? So a relationship is a similar thing. It's a similar thing where it's the shape of relations. This is the container, right, that holds two people or more that are relating in a healthy way. So you cannot know how to relate to another person in a healthy way unless you are in a relationship. You don't have to call it a relationship, but to be in the type of relating that comes with authentic interaction. You cannot interact with a person if you're single all the time. And that doesn't mean that some people aren't supposed to just be single. Cool, do you. I love it. I love when people live as themselves. But if you're going to be out here trying to consider yourself an enlightened person, if I can even use that term, or a woke person, or a person of heightened consciousness, a person that is attempting to be a higher quality human being. If you're going to be that, and you want to relate to people, doesn't matter if you're monogamous, polygamous, polyamorous, whatever. If you're going to be that, be in those kinds of relationships. Don't just be out here just having sex. And I'm not trying to control or say that you have to do things my way. Do things your way. But be in some type of relationship that is going to bring out the deep down pains and traumas, the deep down issues that you need to decondition from because you've been in fucked up relationships in your past. It's the only way it's going to come out. By being triggered. This is why being triggered is actually a good thing. People say, oh, you triggered me, blah, 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 blah. No, thank you. I appreciate the triggering because it makes me better. It makes me wiser about me. It makes me wiser about who I am and what I'm dealing with. What I still got to work on. Trigger the fuck out of me. Now that doesn't mean be in a toxic relationship. That doesn't mean be in an unhealthy relationship or a situation where you're going to find yourself always arguing all the time. No, that's just discordant energies. You got to know that off top. But if you have peace with a person, generally have peace and harmony in your relationship with a person or with people, with different relationships in your life, and this is not just romantic relationships that I'm talking about, but if you have peace, if you have harmony, if you generally have or are in relationships that are good relationships, but they bring out certain things in you and they trigger certain things in you, those are good triggers. Those are good things because they will teach you about yourself. They will teach you how to learn who you are and what you got to deal with, what you got to work through, what you got to let go of. They will teach you. And yes, I'm preaching right now. Cue the organ. This works with all relationships across the board. Mentors, parents, siblings, lovers, children, friends, grandparents, aunts and uncles. Some stuff you just gotta avoid because it's just unhealthy. And you need your peace. You need the relaxation that comes with life that allows you to flow and be who you are. Yes, 1000%. But some stuff, you need to be triggered. Some stuff you need to cry about. Some stuff you need to feel the tension. You need to feel the anger. You need to feel it and say, what is it that is triggering me? What is it that is making me feel this way? What have I not dealt with in my past? So I can let go of this shit and move forward and be who I'm called to be who I'm destined, who I'm designed to be. We each have a destiny in life. Every last one of us. I don't care if you don't believe in destiny. You got one. Destiny and fate are two different things. That's a whole nother talk. And this talk is getting long. But this is important. Very important. You have a life to live. You have a role to play. It's like the Truman Show. I was just talking to my love about that. Outside of the entire premise of it, as far as how he was being tricked, which we are being tricked. We are in a reality that they have created, right? And we are being watched. But the point I'm trying to get to is everybody in his world, if you've seen the Truman Show, they each had a role to play. And in this reality, we each have a role to play. We each came here with a destiny, with a specific imprint that makes us who we are, consciously and unconsciously. The moment you were born, the planet said, boom, this is your genetic imprint. This is who you are designed to be. And then life said, no, be this person. Conform to this ideology. Conform to this. It homogenized you. It conditioned you to be somebody that you're not. And then all of a sudden, now you're deconditioning. And that's what relationships do. If you're not aware, they condition you. And that's why you have to decondition from your long-term relationships. And you do that not only by following your strategy and authority, your unique strategy and authority. And if you do not know it, inbox me, hit me up on Facebook. I'll get it for you. We'll talk about it. We can have a conversation. Karotha Kofe on Facebook. Or you can inbox me on Instagram at Karotha Kofe. KOROTHAKOFE. You do that by following your strategy and authority. And you do that by actually being in these kinds of relationships. Actually allowing yourself to be triggered. Actually allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel. Man or woman. I don't care who you are. Being your authentic self. You may think you know who you are. Most people do not. I've been at this for 5 years. I'm in my 6th year of deconditioning since I came into the knowledge of human design. In addition to all the other things I'm learning on top of that add to all of knowing myself, right? It takes 7 years. And even those who have been doing this for more than 7 years, they'll still tell you, you're still deconditioning because you've been conditioned for decades. But it takes 7 years to reprogram the cells. I'm in year 3 from being separated and divorced from my ex-wife. I'm in year 4, actually. I'm just past year 3. And my point is, the way that we do that is by interacting with people, being ourselves, and honoring, worshiping yourself. When I say worshiping yourself, I mean honoring yourself, honoring your body, honoring your design, honoring who you truly are, to say, yes, I'm going to do what I need to do to bring myself peace and satisfaction and success and surprise. All of those themes that come with the four types. Okay? We got 40 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But I'm going to start doing some longer ones. But I love y'all. As I love myself, you know that. And I mean every word that I say. Every word that I say. I want to see us win, every last one of us, especially my men, my brothers. We don't even know how to hug each other. We don't even know how to be emotional in front of each other. We can be emotional with our woman, but we can't be emotional with each other? No, that's not okay. Don't let anyone, man, woman, child, elder, force you to bury what you feel. And if they do, get the fuck away from them right now. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I love you as I love myself. Bliss to the caravan. You know who you are. I appreciate all my Patreon members, my patrons. If you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/Karota Kofe. Same spelling. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the journey.